Especially two who have weaved and sewn Jesus' garments. And as a loving mother, she must have done this with meticulous care to express through this clothing her tender love for her son. Next, please. During Jesus' time, you could not just simply go to shops and find easily a tailor for your clothing needs. And so mothers make clothing for their children. You have to know how to make your own, which is not easy. The process is, to say the least, complex. As a short example, ito lang po, kung how complex is this. Linen is made out of flax. The outer bark is first removed and the fibers separated. These fibers are then pressed in a tub of water and later spread out to dry. Then the fibers are spun into thread. Wood into spindle held in the hands where the weaving can now begin. Pag-isipan nyo lang po yan. May time pa ba kayo niyan? Ang hirap, di ba? What would have been the garments worn by Jesus? Next, please. A linen shirt worn under a tunic. Next, please. A tunic, shirt, apron, woven without seam. Makita natin yan sa John 19, verse 23. Linen girdle around the waist. Matthew 3:4. An upper top garment. Mark 9:3. Over the tunic, probably made of white wool, with tassels at the corner. In necessity, an additional shawl or cloak. Jewish teachers normally cover their heads. So it is not unlikely for Jesus to have a head kerchief, like a turban on his head. Indeed, meticulous preparation, hard work, and lots of sacrifice become part of the fiber made into one's garments. The garment stands not only to clothe, but to clothe with warmth, tenderness, and love. On closer look still, they reveal something more profound. It can even lead us beyond the material garments to the more interior reality of how human life was deeply woven by the hand of God. Next, please. First account of creation. Genesis 1, verses 1 to chapter 2, verse 4a. Highlights this unchanging truth. Next, please. Quote from Genesis. Let us make man in our own image, in the likeness of ourselves, and let them be masters of the fish of the sea, the birds of heaven, the cattle, all the wild beasts, and all the reptiles that crawl upon the earth. God created man in the image of himself. In the image of God, he created them. Him, male and female, he created them. Now, we will complement this creation story with something more personal from the book of Psalms. This creation story finds a new location in the book of Psalms, in the womb of a mother, in the most intimate way. Let's read this together. Next, please. For you created my inmost being. All please. You knit me in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. The Hebrew word used by the psalmist for knit or weave is likened to the meticulous fine weaving by the weaver, where its inner worth and beauty comes about. Next, please. This is used by the psalmist in the Old Testament to describe in similar fashion the beauty of work and worth of the curtains and veils in the tabernacle and their sojourn in the desert and in the vestments of the high priest. Remember, the tabernacle is a reminder of the presence of God, and the high priest stands as a mediator. Next, please. But this is to point as well to how a human being is so finely weaved by God in the womb. The divine knitting of human life is so meticulous and fine, similar to the weaving of the weaver, producing the garments of superlative beauty and value. Next, please. All of this then points to Christ in the New Testament as the only mediator between God and man, and the high priest par excellence that will come to bring salvation to human beings from their sins. Next, please. The human being then whose life is woven by God and saved by Him through Jesus our Lord is created with so much tenderness, care, and worth that man becomes God's own home. Knitted by God, man, you and I, is such a masterpiece of divine beauty and worth. And so the vestments that you make, linked to weaving of Mary for Jesus' garments, is linked further into the gift of God, becoming man in Jesus, restoring us in all our dignity and worth, starting from our mother's womb to be God's dwelling place in the world. Such is the worth of man before God, drawn out to the fore by the deeper meaning of your vestment ministry. Ganon po kalalim ang kahulugan para sa akin ng ginagawa ninyong vestment. Tinuturuan po niya ako na respetuhin ko ang worth, ang dignity of man that is given to him by God. By God weaving this life and soul of man from his own heart and his own hands. When I take on your vestment as a priest, as a religious, let your vestment sewn and weave with love, sacrifices, and prayers lead me to absorb the truth about God, vesting his one soul with divine dignity. Please continue to give us vestments. This worth of man before God's eyes is a non-negotiable content of our evangelizing mission. In your own ministry, proclaim this word from the housetops of your temporary earthly homes. For everyone should be persuaded that human life and the task of transmitting it, said by the pastoral constitution of the church in the modern world, are not realities bound up in this world alone. Hence, they cannot be measured or perceived only in terms of it, but always have a bearing on the eternal destiny of man. Last point. Kanina po, nung dumating ako, Bishop Jerry was already about to end his talk. And he was emphasizing part of what I'm going to say now. I'm very happy that he was able to nail it down and really bring it to our consciousness. What is this fourth point? Fourth point. Next, please. Fourth point, as the Father has sent me, so I send you. Your special mission, after point number 3, di ba, binigyan natin ng emphasis yung vestment ministry. Your special mission is not only to vest, but also to accompany our religious leaders on the path of restoration and healing. The nourishment offered by the Lord, next please, to us in the Last Supper, where He instituted the sacrament of the Eucharist, is a nourishment that cannot be so without being complemented by the washing of the feet. To participate in the celebration of the Eucharist, the participation or celebration of the Eucharist has to be complemented by the washing of the feet, so that we can truly say we are in a state of mission. Accordingly, as we are nourished, we grow in availability and service. The nourishment of the Eucharist is really intentionally for mission. Next, please. What is the context? What is the present context of our mission? This is what we see on the ground. There are sinister forces around us that are bent on murdering life and destroying marriage and family. They are there too to undermine the credibility of many of our religious leaders by foul means. They come to confuse, divide, win over to their side, and expand their influence on persons, legislations, and advocacies, especially in media, about their anti-life, anti-marriage, anti-family, anti-clergy, and anti-church agenda, among others. In the midst of these realities and before these adversarial forces, we need to turn our Mother Butlers Mission Guild units into sanctuaries of life and hope. Starting from the defense of the mother's womb against abortion, to the expanded defense of the bigger womb of our community against the spread of poverty, crimes, killings, fake news, and in our environment against local and global pillage of our natural resources. Often we cannot grasp this task, but advance inch by inch, advance on foot, as it were, to our personal life's testimony and our institutional witnessing. In addition, as active sanctuaries of life and hope. We are challenged to offer an extra mile for our service is not only to the altar of the resurrected Christ. Please, let me have a time to do this in slow motion. We are challenged to offer an extra mile for our service, not only to the altar of the resurrected Christ, but to embrace also the altar of secrets. The altar of sufferings, and those who are dying, where the new faces of Christ are found in their most dismal state, in these most unlikely places. We too are sent to serve Him along the path, not only of the victorious, but of the defeated, maligned, scandalized, corrupted, leaders of our very own communities. This is homebound evangelization. Next, please. Where at times you are needed to confront the sources of the hypocrisies of our communities. especially of our own leaders. Before them, we are not adversaries. We are partners in the ministry. We are family. We have to learn to embrace these hypocrisies as our own. We join in solidarity to the march of the wounded, the defeated, the humble, and those who are shamed on the path of healing. I said reflect and explore. Sinabi ko po yung kanina. I cannot go into the details of this. Do we have the readiness to walk this path? Next, please. Pray that we will not falter. For this is a paschal path. It will retrace the path to Calvary and eventual crucifixion. This is the ancient path to bring about restoration, healing, and wholeness as we strengthen with our defeats, this time our brethren. We will learn in the end that what it is, we will learn in the end what it is to be weak in order for us to be strong. I am about to end. Conclusion. What are we contributing, therefore, this year of the clergy and religious persons as partners in the renewal of our life and mission? A return, next week, to the centrality of the Eucharist in our life. A living out of a Marian spirituality, the revaluing and sustained defense of the integrity of human life, and our special mission, accompanying our religious leaders on the path of restoration and healing. These gifts, when generously shared, will ask of us nothing less than our heart as Eucharist. Our heart as Eucharist. Broken, shared, eaten. By then we will realize that it will ask of us our most priceless treasure. Salamat po. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Maraming salamat once again for our second speaker. We have Monsignor Jose Maria Amado Delgado DC. Can we give him another big round of applause, everybody? Joining us on stage again, together with our guest speaker, is Chapter Vice President of the Diocese of Bacolod, Ma'am Melinda Dacles. Kindly receive and accept this special token of appreciation. Maraming salamat po. Kindly smile to the camera.
He's in Loyola School of Theology. He is a master in philosophy at Ateneo de Manila. Bachelor of Science, Community Development in UP Diliman. He attended San Jose Seminary and currently a retreat and recollection giver and liturgical consultant. He is under the Jesuit Communications and serving UP Parish of the Holy Sacrifice and the Christ the King at Green Meadows. Please lend him your ears because what he's going to say this afternoon, I think, is very important to us. I am introducing to you Brother Mark Joseph Barugana.
Hi, good afternoon everyone, and I am very humbled and honored to be here. Salamat po dun sa beautiful ladies who invited me to come over to Bacolod to speak to you this afternoon. Earlier this morning, we heard from Bishop Jerry a very good sharing of how the ladies of MBMG can help in the formation of seminarians and the ongoing formation of priests and bishops, and how important their role is. You really are mothers and, if I may say, grandmothers to us. When I came to the airport yesterday, I was surprised that the Terminal 2 of Manila is starting to look like it's salmon filled. Okay, and also, of course, Monsignor Jomari Delgado, an alumnus also of San Jose Seminary, eloquently gave us a beautiful reflection on the vestment ministry. And because that seems to be a major ministry of the MBMG, I will give to you now a sort of review. I know for many of you, especially to the Father Chaplains who are here, you know this, you've learned this already, but sometimes we forget, and I guess it's important to go back and relearn it. But before I begin my talk, where's the delegation from La Union? Nasaan po si Tita Tess Kulapon? Tita Tess, sabi ni Father Vic Hailao, magkasama po kami sa San Jose. Yung picture na mamaya, pinakita ko yung PowerPoint ko para kita mo yung anak mo. Baka nami-miss ko daw. Okay. May mga pa-page ko eh. May mga paging dito sa yung mga kaklase sa seminaryo. But before I begin, I'd like to take inspiration first from a scripture passage, and allow me to read it to you. From the letter of St. Paul to the Colossians. Put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If one has a grievance against another, as the Lord has forgiven you, so must you also do. And over all these, put on love, the bond of perfection. And let the peace of Christ control your hearts, the peace into which you are also called in one body, and be thankful. Why did I choose that passage? And I am entitling my address to you this afternoon as Put on Love, about vesting in the liturgy. And Monsignor Jomari already gave us that beautiful imagery of weaving. No? Yesterday we had dinner, and I had dinner with some of the ladies, and they were talking about how you would impart your new members the practice of sewing. Ilan pa po dito yung may mga sewing circles, yung nananalipa, yung hindi na lang umu-order? Kasi times umu-order na lang, no? Wala na, ilan yung tumatahal sa kamay, palapakan po natin yung mga nananalipa. Okay. You know there's value to that, because I heard part of your spirituality is to pray, no? When we make these vestments, no? It sanctifies the vestments, no? Even before the official blessing of the church of vestments, your prayers already sanctify the vestments. So for every stitch, a prayer. Pero yung natutunan daw ni Tita Mary, for every stitch, a Hail Mary. Ako napakatagal gumawa ng corporal nyo. No? For 2,000 Hail Marys bago matapos yung corporal. No, but for every stitch, a prayer. And that's so beautiful. Because really, you could just imagine the beautiful imagery of Mary also preparing vestments, no? Regular clothes for her son. Regular clothes for her son. And you know that there's a lot of concern that goes on. Many of you are mothers. My mother, she passed away already 7 years ago, no? Pero my mother was very meticulous about my clothes, no? Yan yung pinag-aawayan namin ni Mami natin. Kasi, nung pumasok po ako sa seminaryo, nagagalit siya kasi hindi ako marunong maglaba at magplansya ng damit ko, nasisira ko yung t-shirt ko, no? But that's, I knew that time, yung pakyut ng galit was really a way to show how much she loves me and how great is your concern for me. And I'm pretty sure you are here as MBMGs, no? Salmon ladies, no? Because you love the church. Not just, hindi lang si Father ang love mo, but more than that, minsan kaya hindi mo love si Father, di ba? But more than that, it is because you love Holy Mother, the church. And because you love Jesus Christ. You love Jesus Christ. That's why this whole vesting in the liturgy thing, it's not just about staying beautiful, no? Some of the bishops, when they are vested for big occasions, they tease each other, they say when they are vested already by the ladies, they will say to one another, "Oh, you look so pretty." With all the lace and the burda. But really, it's not about being pretty. No? It's not about being pretty. But it is really, just like what Bishop Jerry said, it is about preaching through beauty. No? Preaching through beauty. And this afternoon, I will just go into the nuancing of the vestments that you do. Kasi may problema po tayo sa Pilipinas. Sa Pilipinas po, lahat ng vestment, isa ang tawag. Sutana. No? Yung chasuble, sutana yan. Yung habit, sutana yan. Yung dalmatic, sutana yan. Yung surplice, sutana yan. Kaya pag sinabi mo, pakikuha po yung sutana yan. So, hindi po ganon. No? I was surprised. I first gave this talk to the Manila chapter. And when I gave this talk, I was surprised because you do vestments, pero yun nga tawag, sutana. No? Yung chasuble, sutana. Yung alba, sutana. Yung kasak, sutana. Nakakatawa ng Manila chapter kasi parang first time nila makakita ng alba. Bakit? No? So, it's very important. And my dear, ano ba natawag sa inyo? Titas, mommies, lolas, grandlolas, etc. Pwede po magtanong during my talk, no? Mas informal po tayo, taas lang po ng kamay. Baka pwede po tayong patulong dun sa mga PA, baka pwede may mga microphone dyan. Pag may tanong po kayo, taas niyo po yung kamay nyo. Because I find that's more helpful, you remember more when you ask questions. Okay. So, first, the origins of Catholic liturgical vestments. No? Why do we wear vestments? Diba? Sino ba sabi natin ni Bishop Claver, no? In one of our masses in San Jose Seminary, Bishop Claver was the former bishop of Bukidnon and Bontoc, Lalawin, I think, there. Pero Bishop was a very simple man. After celebrating the solemnity of the Assumption, we had to coerce him to say Mass for us, no? Kasi he doesn't want to pontificate anymore, no? Ayaw niya yung mga susunod. Pagkatapos niya mag-misa, tinanggal niya yung mitre, tapos sabi niya, whoever invented this. No? I tell you, if you ask your priests, the vestments are not comfortable, especially with our weather. No? And why wear it? Bakit si Father, gaya ng example ni Bishop Jerry kaninang pare, bakit mali yung pare na nagbinyag na ang suot ay pang-jogging, tapos nakastola naman, pari naman siya. Yung pagkapari ba, nakadepende dun sa outfit. Diba? Tapos tayo, marami tayong naloloko mga parokya. Diba? Kasi may dumadating, nakabihis pang pare, akala natin totoo. Tapos hindi naman pala, iba pala hindi pala Roman Catholic, ano pala, Brazilian, ano yun, mga Brazilian Orthodox, ayun, mga ganun. Naloloko rin tayo ng vestments, pag mali. Akala natin tama-tama, pero mali pa rin pala. Pero bakit may vestments, no? The origin of doon pala yun, sorry, mali. Okay. The origin of our vestments The origin of our vestments really are from the Greco-Roman, and if I may add, the Jewish cultures. No? The vestments that the priests wear used to be worn regularly by the Romans. No? Pero may note dun sa binasa kong research, part of it, they make sure it is very clean. To symbolize also purity. And because we're in a hurry, I will no longer discuss that too much. No? Pero yung mga chasabon, tsaka yung dati mga Roman to, ganyan. But the vestments in Mass have twofold purpose. First, they should therefore symbolize the function of each ministry in the liturgy. And at the same time, the vestment should also contribute to the beauty of the rite. Contribute to the beauty of the rite. That's from GIRN number 335. I encourage you, my dear friends, to read GIRN, the General Instructions to the Roman Missa. You can do it during your free time in between telenovelas and telenovelas. Please read GIRN. Kahit pa unti-unti lang po, so you begin to understand how Mass is celebrated and why your role is so important. And also that you may understand what kind of vestments to make. Bakit si Father ayaw suotin yung tinahi ko? Maganda naman. Pero kasi rainbow yung color. Okay. Bakit si Father ayaw gamitin yung suot kong pinagawa kong tsasabol? Ang ganda-ganda gawa kaya sa lace. Bakit tsasabol lace? Ginawa niya konti na si Father. Bakit hindi siya pwedeng gano'n? No? May mga rason kung bakit there are certain materials recommended for liturgical purpose. Kuya, tawag ka na yata. Ayun, okay. So, this is to identify the priestly people. Pero my dear friends, also let us not forget, although the ordained ministers, they are there to lead us in the celebration of the Eucharist. By virtue of your baptism, you are also priests. We have a common priesthood. And part of your common priesthood is the preparation of the Eucharist. And in that way, you sanctify the world. Because we are a people set apart. And clothing shows how we are set apart. How we are set apart for God. How we are consecrated for God. Okay, ano na tayo? Vestments. Before I proceed, I would just like to clarify one thing. I will show you the norm. What is normative for all of Catholic celebrations. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Okay? Sadly, in the Philippines, the exception becomes the norm. Anong rason? Ang hirap kayong bitbitin, pupunta ka akong bundok. Or, mahirap mainit. No? Number one reason for lousy vesting at Mass, mainit. Pero there are ways to go around it, no? Without sacrificing the dignity of the vestments. Very often, what we say, dapat manipis yung fabric. You will hear priests, na frustration namin yung mga liturgies, lalo na sa mga malalaking gathering, yung mga tipong IEC, di ba? Away yan eh. Anong isusuot? Dapat manipis. No? And sometimes, sa sobrang nipis, kita mo lang ang kaluluwa ni Father sa ilalim ng chasuble. Hindi naman dignified yun. Okay, so mahalaga rin na